All right. I'm very excited. Philip, are you very excited?
I am excited. Let's get this thing going.
All
Well, good
right.
morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're excited to kick our first SMC webinar this morning with an amazing guest, Jason Forrest. I'm Philip Eidenschenk, owner of Peak Staffing Group and your SMC 2020 chair. Before we get started, these events would not occur without our wonderful sponsors. So thank you, BAC Ferguson, Wells Fargo, Colton Mortgage. So if you need a microwave or a mortgage, they can help. Let's get on with the program. Jason is the CEO of Forrest Performance Group. FPG, they exist because they help you create a legacy that increases your sales, sustains your net profit, maximizes your engagement, and fulfills your mission as a company. We have been challenged over the last couple of months in sales. Well, today, Jason's going to provide you steps and the mentality to help you sell through the coronavirus. Jason, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited. All right. You ready? You ready to get started? You ready to crush it?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So again, glad to be here. I have a lot to cover right now, so please feel free to take as many notes as you would like. Everything I'm covering is from a most recent book called Selling Through the Coronavirus. It's on Amazon Kindle right now, and you can definitely check it out if you would like. Also, another book that I wrote called The Mindset of Sales Warrior. It's all about mental toughness strategies. Came out at the end of last year. Some of those things I'll be covering from that book as well. But to me, this is a very interesting time right now, as you can imagine. But it's also a very opportunistic time. And what I mean by that is that we had, you've probably heard the stats that back in March, they said that there was the housing market was as worst it's been since the early 80s. But yet I know plenty of salespeople, I'm sure some of you on this phone, that are making their sales numbers. I know other salespeople that are selling 3 times more than they did, in March of last year. And so what I've been really doing, my team's been really doing over the last couple of months is really studying, what are the top people doing that everyone else is not doing? And then really sharing those best practices and those secrets. And so that's what I'm going to do for you guys today. So really quick, so I have about 1,000 hours in what's called neuro-linguistic programming. Maybe some of you are familiar with NLP, but NLP, it's simple as this: is linguistic is the way we talk to ourselves and others. So linguistic is our words. Neural is our brain. And what's been proven by science is the way we talk to ourselves and others can directly program our brain wiring. So for example, have you ever had a negative thought that you keep having over and over again, and you feel the anxiety, the negative thought creates anxiety? That's NLP. You ever had a positive thought like, I'm very happy, or I'm in love, I'm very successful, and that creates a different emotional or different physical response? That's NLP. If you've ever, someone's ever told you, I love you, or you're the best salesperson I've ever met in my entire life, or you're incredible, or, I can count on you, and that you feel that physically in your body, that's NLP. Or if someone's ever said, hey, let's go out back and let's get in a fight, or I hate you, or get out of my face, or you're the worst parent I've ever had, whatever, then that's NLP. And so I have equivalent about 10 PhDs over 1,000 hours in studying. Why is it the way we talk to ourselves and others can directly influence people's beliefs, which programs their emotions, how they feel, which programs their motivation, which is why they do what they do, which programs their behavior, which of course programs their results. At the same time, I want you guys to know, as I'm teaching you guys these things today, please feel free to in the chat box. I'd love to know that you're here. So I believe you can actually just chat away and say that you're here and you're excited about today, as well as is there's anything that you want me to, if you have any questions or things you want me to kind of address more, I definitely can do that as well. So I want to make this as interactive for you guys as possible. So Priscilla is saying happy Monday. So I love that. So you guys all come in there and again, say happy and maybe even where you're from. That would be awesome. So great. Glad Mike from Wonderland Homes is here. Awesome builder. Okay, so let's start our notes with this. We're gonna do a little awareness check, and that is the coronavirus will impact your 2020 sales numbers. So write this down. The coronavirus will impact your 2020 sales numbers. It's either going to cause you to lower your forecast, or it's going to show you an opportunity to gain market share. So I'm going to say it again, and maybe Brand, you can type this in for us as well. So the coronavirus will impact your 2020 sales numbers. It's either going to A, cause you to lower your forecast, or B, show you an opportunity to gain market share. So A, lower your forecast, B, show you an opportunity to gain market share. I'm calling these A thoughts and B thoughts. So A thoughts are, we're going to lower our market share, lower our sales forecast. B is that we are going to have an opportunity to gain market share. So write on a piece of paper right now, write the word self. So self-talk. So I want you to be consciously aware. We are all human, conscious beings of choice, right? Conscious beings of choice. So be aware of your thoughts. So in the last 7 days, have you had more A thoughts or B thoughts to yourself? So A thoughts are, this is a scary time. This is a crazy time. This is a worrisome time. I should really buy some more ammo, and I should buy some more toilet paper. And, or B thoughts are, what a great opportunity. There's so much opportunity out there that I should go find it. So in the last 7 days, just write the word, self, A or B. And then what about with your family? Are you having more A thoughts or B conversations with your family? So A conversations are, hey family, we really need to go buy some ammo. You know, the ammo right now is 75 cents a bullet. That's insane. It used to be like less than 10 cents a bullet, which is kind of funny to think about because, maybe that'll help gun violence, right? Now you got to decide 75 cents a bullet, gun violence will probably go down now. But the conversations with your family, they've been more, hey, we really need to buy some ammo. Or in the beginning of March, if you would have bought Amazon stock, it was 30% discount. That's pretty crazy to think about. So how the conversations been with your family? Been more negative, A conversations, B positive. How about the conversations with your peers, your colleagues? Have they been more around A, we really need to lower our price, increase our incentives, or B, hey, what a great opportunity for us to go call on people that probably are not being served by our competition right now. Maybe we should go call on some of them and see if we can, talk to them and maybe give them certainty and maybe we can sell one of them a house. What's the opportunity right now? Where are people not being served? Let's go run towards that. What about the conversations you're having with your prospects and customers? Have they been more A or B? So again, awareness is the birthplace for change. And something I want you guys to know from a self-compassion perspective, it's totally okay for you to say, you know what, I've had some A conversations over the last 7 days. The difference between kind of the average mindset and the top 1% is the top 1% is aware of where they're having those A thoughts and A conversations, and they just do something to change it. So everyone has negative thoughts. I have negative thoughts. I just try to be disciplined over my mindset and just try to change them and do something about them. So what does A stand for? A stands for average. What does B stand for? B stands for baller. We want to go from average thoughts and average conversations to baller thoughts and baller conversations. What else does B stand for? Buffett, for Warren Buffett. I love one of his quotes, and that is, be opportunistic when others are fearful, and fearful when others are opportunistic. Be opportunistic when others are fearful, and fearful when others are opportunistic. In 2019, Warren Buffett, the richest guy in the world, he was not investing in things because things were too expensive. And so what do you think he's doing in 2020? He's looking for opportunities to buy. He's opportunistic when others are fearful. So we need to go from having an average mindset to having a Buffett mindset or a baller mindset. And we got to look for the opportunities. We got to see where that stuff is. Warren Buffett sees the whole world as one big TJ Maxx right now. Things are on discount. And he's trying to find where those discounts are. And so I think that's awesome. So, okay. So here's, I want to get into some tactical things for you guys right now to really help you out. So my father owns the oldest jewelry store in North Dallas. And it's interesting because in every major recession, he's had this business now for 40 years. I'm 41. So my whole life, right? He's 81, still in business, 81 years after he's 81 years old. And in every major recession, my dad's sales go up. So anytime everyone says to me, Jason, I don't think you understand how hard the recession is hitting blank industry. I always tell them, well, my dad's jewelry store is up. And then I just drop the mic, right? How do you compete against that? And so I call my dad up and I go, Dad, how are you doing? He goes, sales are up 20%. Like, how is that possible? You're in diamond sales. Who in the world needs diamonds when they're saving money on toilet paper, And he says, he goes, people are still buying. The only question is from whom? It's a great line. People are still buying. The only question is from whom? You know, he said people are still getting married. They still need Mother's Day gifts. They still need anniversary presents. They still need wedding presents. Valentine's, people are still buying. Graduation gifts coming up. The only question is from whom? And then he told me this, I thought was pretty profound. He said, all you have to be is a light in a dark tunnel. All you have to do is give certainty in uncertain times, and it's as if you have no competition. So all you have to do is give certainty in uncertain times, and it's as if you have no competition. Just let that sit for a second, you know? Just let that sit. What would happen right now if 20, 30% of your competition decided to shut the doors down? How many more sales would you earn? So you have the ability to do that with your presence, with your energy, with your words. You know, there's three places, there's three things that we focus on in our training program. I'll share my screen with you. There's three things that we focus on. You can see it. We focus on our mindset. We focus on our process. We focus on our language, our mindset, our process, and our language. And so as long as you dial those things in, as long as you're impeccable in those things, it's like you have no competition. So I'm going to share with you something practical that he taught me that I thought was pretty cool. So a customer comes in, I'm sure you guys have probably dealt with this. A customer comes in, they start talking to you over the phone or virtual, and they say, so how's business? How's business? You know, you've probably gotten that one before, right? You know, how's business? See, whenever anyone asks you any question, you got to realize you either react out of fear or you respond out of abundance. You know, so write that down. You either react out of fear or you respond out of abundance. But everyone on this call is a conscious being of choice. You have the ability to choose how you respond versus react out of fear. You know, something I believe is the market. This is a good thing to write down. The market's going to do what the market's going to do. You have a choice on how you're going to respond. The market's going to do what the market's going to do. You have a choice on how you're going to respond to that, which I think is everything. And so anyway, so customer says, how's business? This is what my dad says. What do you mean? What do you mean, how's business? See, if you react out of fear, you go, oh, it's a little slow. It's a little crazy. You know, it's a little uncertain right now. You know, traffic's slow, business is slow. That does not help them. That does not help them. So instead, what you want to do is respond out of abundance. You know, you would say something like, what do you mean? What do you mean, how's business? You know, what are you hearing? Ask them, what are you hearing? You know, put it back on them. The most important thing in selling is, do you have position of strength? Position of strength is they want you. They feel good about you. They're excited about you. That's position of strength. They see value in you. They see opportunity in you. And so they immediately say, you know, so how's business? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you hearing? Oh, I was over at XYZ Builder and they were telling me that things are a little slow. And then this is how you respond. You write this down. That's them over there. That's not us. That's them over there. That's not us. We're very successful right now. You know, we've sold X number of homes since the beginning of March. We've sold X number of homes. X number of lives have been improved, you know, since the beginning of March. People are buying from us because they're looking for something more luxurious, a better school district, something bigger. You know, I'm curious, what has you looking for a home today? That's them over there. That's not us. We're very successful. We sold X number of homes since the beginning of March. During all this time, people were buying from us because they were looking for something more luxurious, a better neighborhood, a better part of town, you know, something newer, a bigger house. I'm curious, what has you looking for a home today? See, now I'm responding out of abundance. And the other thing I would share with you is those of you who are on a team, you know, most of you, I believe, are obviously on a team. You're in a builder with a builder team. The big thing I want to encourage you to do is combine your numbers. Combine your numbers. So like, for example, you might have only sold 3 houses since the beginning of March personally, but you're on a team since the beginning of March that sold like 30 houses, you know? And so you don't want to say, since the beginning of March, I've sold like 3 houses since the beginning of March. Don't say that. So instead, say, since the beginning of March, we've sold like 30 houses since the beginning of March. You know, we're very successful. It's a better number, you know, it's bigger. People need permission to buy right now. This is an important thing that I want you guys to write down and that I think is so critical, you know? And that is that my definition of a market, this is think about reframing things, you know, we want to reframe things, see things differently. And so, you know, in 2019, someone would buy a house from you and they'd go to their friends and family and they would say, hey, I bought a house. And friends and family say, that's awesome. Congratulations. What a great decision. In 2020, that same person buys a house. They go to their friends and family and they go, what are you, nuts? You know, you should be buying ammo and toilet paper. You should be buying a house, you know? The difference is in both markets, you had a buyer that wanted to buy, and you had a buyer that was seeking social approval. You had a buyer that was seeking out permission. It's just in 2019, they were getting 80% of their permission from their friends and family, 20% from you. In a market like 2020, they get 0% permission from their friends and family, so they get 100% from you. They get 100% from you. So an affirmation I want you to give yourself, I'm a big fan of affirmations. Affirmations are self-talk. We're going to program ourselves, right? So just like I said earlier, you have a thought, a negative thought you keep thinking, you feel it. Well, you can also program yourself positively. So a positive affirmation you want to give yourself is, I am the primary source of permission. All my customers are looking for is permission. I am the primary source of permission. All my customers are looking for is permission. So when a customer says, what kind of deals are you offering right now? All they're looking for is permission. When they say, I think I'm going to wait, all they're looking for is permission. My family doesn't think it's a good decision. All they're looking for is permission. No matter what they say, just know all they're looking for is permission from you. If they weren't looking for permission, how do I know this to be true? Because if they weren't talking to you right now, they weren't looking for permission. They wouldn't be buying it at all, you know? So the fact that they're talking to you says, I got all this friendly fire, you know, I'm getting shot from behind right now by my friends and family telling me not to do this. And so I need someone to get my back. I need someone to cover me, you know? And so that's who you are. You're there to give them permission to buy. And you do that through, you know, the social proof and all these things that we're talking about. So, all right. So is there any questions so far? Let me see here. Yeah, react out of fear. What's the best way? So looks like Alyssa, what's the best way to have conversations with people are focused on the A when you're on the B? So good. So I hope one of those techniques is what I just said, right? So we want to redirect them, you know, we want to redirect those conversations, you know? So let's say a customer comes and they say, you know, hey, so what kind of deals are you offering? Okay. So that we know they've been hearing that from someone. Maybe your competition's offering them deals right now. So I would just, again, respond. You would say, I'm curious, what do you mean? What kind of deals are you referring to? Oh, well, I was told that, you know, I was down the street over at XYZ and they're offering blank off a home, you know? And then you would say, that's them over there. That's not us. You know, we're very successful right now. We've sold X number of homes in the last 30 days. You know, people are buying from us because of blank, blank, blank. And here's the thing, you know, we currently have not had to discount our homes because people are seeing the value in our homes, and we do things very differently here. You know, we do blank, 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 and the people who are looking to buy our homes, they have different priorities. And so why don't I do this? Why don't I walk you through one of our homes? Why don't I share with you why people are paying a higher premium for one of our homes? And then before you leave today, I'll ask you one simple question. Are you one of us or are you one of them? That's all you got to say. Just respond out of abundance, you know, be certain, be proud of what you're offering, which is great. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to keep doing that. So can you please give us some permission scenarios wording? Yep. So let me do some more of that. So now that you've heard that one, right? So that's them, that's not us, that one. You know, another one that I think is important to know, and that is the definition of selling. So the definition of selling is give certainty plus education with rapport. Certainty plus education with rapport. And so remember, you're always selling someone something, you know, you're either selling them on why they should do something or you're selling them on why they shouldn't do something, but you're always selling, which is important. So here's a great question you can ask going forward. This is something I know you guys are looking for language here, so I'll teach you that. So during the stay in place, would you rather be in this home or the one you're in? During stay in place, would you rather be in this neighborhood or the one you're in? During stay in place, would you rather have this backyard or the one you're in? During stay in place, would you rather be in this part of town or the one you're in? During stay in place, would you rather have this kitchen or the one you're in? To me, it's a very important question that you could ask people along the way. During the stay in place, would you rather have this home or the one you're in? You know, that's important question. All right, so here's something that I want you guys to write down, and that is something I talk about in both of my books is this formula called performance formula. Performance equals knowledge minus leashes. So performance equals knowledge minus leashes. So performance is what we do. A knowledge is what we've been trained to do, like teach knowledge. I'm giving you lots of knowledge right now. So that's them, that's not us, you know, that's knowledge. A leash is anything that holds us back, resistance that holds us back from kind of earning what we're truly worth, from being our best self. There's 4 types of leashes that I'm hearing about a lot right now, and I'm going to share with you how to bust those leashes so that you can be more successful. The first leash is self-image. Self-image. And so the self-image leash is, Jason, I just don't feel confident right now, on why a person should buy during this time. I'm hearing that. And so if you're someone right now that's struggling with why a person should buy right now, my best advice for you is you've got to sell yourself. You've got to sell yourself on what you are selling. And the best way to do that is to practice with each other. So for example, if I was working with you, I'd ask you right now, so tell me, why would you buy a house right now? And then I would look at you in the eyes over Zoom, just like this. We could do this in role play. And you would have to share with me, here's why I would buy a house right here. Here's why I think it's the right time to buy. And then if I feel that you're telling the truth, I feel the energy in you, the energy is congruent with your words, I'm going to raise my hand. If I feel that I don't trust you, I'm going to lower my hand. Well, why am I doing that? Because everyone, you can comment on the chat box if you experienced this before, but I'm assuming you have. You've been around someone in your life where they say the right thing, but they put off a creepy vibe. You know what I mean? Like women on the phone. Ever been around a guy where they're saying the right things to you, but they're putting off a creepy guy vibe? You know what I'm talking about? Well, that's because their words are not congruent with their energy. And so you don't trust them. You don't trust them. Well, that's what's happening right now with your customers. So if you're saying B thoughts with them, you're having B conversations on why they should buy, but you don't truly believe it in your soul on why they should buy and why you should buy, you're incongruent. And so you're putting off a creepy vibe. And they're going to say something like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. What they're saying is, I don't trust you. And so you really need to work on that. So every day, I would really work on going in the mirror, talking to your coworkers. Here's why I would buy today. Here's why I would buy today. Here's why I would buy today. That's important. The second leash I'm hearing a lot is a story. And a story is anything external. So a story is fiction. But a story might be, people are just telling me they're going to wait until the coronavirus thing is over before they do anything. They're just going to wait. So the best way to bust a story is to question it. And so I was coaching you personally. I would say, okay, well, why do you believe that to be true? Because Jason, I've talked to like 3 people and they've told me that they're going to wait until the coronavirus thing settles down before they buy something. And I would say 3. That's your case study. That's your empirical evidence. See, if you were a parent, the parents on the call right now, just listen to this. If a child comes to you and says, I've just decided I'm not capable to do math. God has not given me the ability to do math. And you're like, well, why is that, son? Well, because I've done like 3 tests in a row and I've gotten C's on all of them, And you'd be like, okay, you're not going to give up on math and just believe God didn't bless you with some math skill, all because you have 3 C's. But see, humans, we're really bad about overgeneralizing things. And so if we've had 3 people tell us they're going to wait, then all of a sudden we assume that all people are going to wait. And that's just not true. And so be careful. So my best advice for you that I think is so critical, and you probably want to write this down, live by this. You probably somewhere to say live by this one advice. And that is coach yourself like you coach your kids. Coach yourself like you coach your kids. You wouldn't let your kids get away with that overgeneralization. And so don't let yourself get away with that. So prove me wrong. So how do you do that? So every customer that comes in, they give you A conversations. They're very negative. You give them the best process you can possibly give them. We have a process we teach called the 5-4-3 sales process. 5 steps to understand the customer's mission, 4 steps to present a solution, 3 steps to resolve a sale. It's called Warrior Selling 5-4-3. We teach every month in boot camps. And it's very game changing. It's all based on NLP and mindset and process and language, all the stuff we teach. So let's say for 100 people in a row, you go, that's them, that's not us. We're very successful. We've sold X number of homes. Here's testimonials. People are buying because they're looking for something better neighborhood, more luxurious, a better part of town. I'm curious, what has you looking for a home today? And then you follow the process, do Discovery 360. Tell me more about that. Tell me about your current home. What do you like and you don't like? Where else have you been? Who's your favorite so far? What makes them great? What's something they don't have you're looking for? So it sounds like you're looking for a home that has blank and blank because of blank and blank, and your favorite so far is XYZ. You like their floor plan because of blank. The thing they don't have is because of blank. And you want to get away from what you don't like about your current home. Does that sound about right to you? It does. Great. So based upon that, you definitely decide to make a change, do something. You're still unsure, no problem. Okay, let's make our entire goal today to see if it makes sense for you to stop renting and do something different. How does that sound? That sounds perfect. And then you continue on. That was the first 5 steps of the 5, 4, 3. You continue on, do the process. And then you ask them, hey, would you rather be in this neighborhood or the one you're in during the stay in place? Would you rather have this backyard or yours during the stay in place? You ask them all along the way. You do that 100 times in a row, just like that. And you still have 100 people that say they're going to wait. Okay, well, now you've got empirical evidence. But I bet you, if you try to do the process 100 times in a row with impeccability, you'll surprise yourself how many people you'll end up buying a house from you. You know, people want to buy. People want to buy. So, all right. So let's so the next ones we talked about the leash of self-image, the leash of a story. How about the leash of insensitivity? I've heard that one a lot. Leash of insensitivity. You know, Jason, I just think it's insensitive right now to sell them a house during this time of uncertainty. Here's the best way that I can coach you to uncover or unleash yourself from the leash of insensitivity. Is that I'm going to teach you a concept called the 6 human needs. Okay, so the 6 human needs. If you get my book, the Selling Through the Coronavirus, you can see I talk about the 6 human needs a lot in there in both the books. But first I would say, okay, well, tell me about Mr. Customer, about the customer you're trying to close. Well, it's Mr. or Mrs. Prospect. Great. Okay, so how will this home give them more certainty, more safety, more security? How will this home give them more freedom, more fun? How will this home give them more significance, feel like a king or a queen? How will this home give them more love and connection? You know, time, love and connection. How will this home allow them to grow more spiritually, physically? How will this home allow them to contribute more to their family and friends? And after I've coached you and asked you all of those questions, I bet you what's going to happen is on the scale of justice of to call or not to call, to sell or not to sell, you know, it'll shift and you'll say, you know what? It's insensitive to not sell them a house right now. It's insensitive to not sell them a house. See, I think this is one of the best opportunities to buy a house ever, because I'm just going to say something just very factual, right? How many marriages did not sign up to be with their spouse 24/7? How many parents did not sign up to be parents 24/7? You know what I mean? How many parents signed up to be parents like after school and on the weekends? How many husbands and wives signed up to be, you know, to after work? I'm going to have my own time, and then after work, we're going to hang out for 3 or 4 hours. See, right now, you have the ability to give them a new home, a new life, to make their life better, to improve their future, and to give them more safety and security, fun and freedom, growth and contribution, love and connection, you know, significance, all those things. And so I think it's insensitive to not sell them a house right now. So I think you have the cure to the disease, which is a lot of fear right now that's going on. My final one is a rule. And a rule is anything that I need to see, feel, or hear that gives myself permission to engage. And one of the rules I'm hearing right now when it comes to selling is that, you know, they told me they're going to let me know next Monday if they're going to move forward. The biggest thing I want you to remind yourself of is the biggest competitor you have is not your competitor. The biggest competitor you have is the conversation you're not present to. So if you don't talk to them for a week, then just so you know, their friends and family are telling them why they shouldn't do it versus why they should. And so if they are going to wait a week, then make sure you're peppering them with countermeasures, with testimonial videos, with all kinds of things to help them, you know, give permission to buy right now. So don't just wait a week. Make sure, because you're going to lose that sale because it's very negative right now. So to me, you know, let me teach you a way to get testimonials. I think testimonials are so important right now. If you go to our YouTube page go to YouTube and then Forrest Performance Group, you can see all of our videos, and we have a whole thing called Real Stories from Real Clients. And what I'm doing is we get testimonials from all of our clients. I'll have testimonials from you right now as well, but we get testimonials from all of our clients. And then we share those testimonials with potential customers. And think of like a prospect tree, you know? People say money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it kind of does, because you have a prospect tree, and every time you send out a testimonial, it like takes one of the prospects off the apple tree, you know, because they send them and it kind of loosens it up a little bit. And so we send testimonials out all the time. But here's the script. I'm gonna give you a script on how to get testimonials. So let's say you're at Hidden Bluffs Estates, okay? And you're going to call up your buyer. Let's say I'm calling Brandon up. And I go, Brandon, hey, first off, thank you so much for being one of our most recent homeowners at Hidden Bluffs Estates. You know, when we decided to build out here, we built, you know, this home and with you in mind, you and your family in mind. We just feel like you and your family are like the ideal match for what we were trying to do as a builder and what this neighborhood was trying to do and what we were trying to create. Do you feel that same way too? And then Brandon says, yeah, I do feel that way. Hey, Brandon, can I ask you a favor? Yeah. Can you help me increase the resale value of your home? Yeah. How do I do that? Well, as you know, we've been increasing prices the last 12 months out here, and it's all about supply and demand. And what I would like to do is I would like to increase the resale value of your house by the time that you end up closing on this house and moving in and settling. And I'd really like to have a couple of price increases if I can. That's my goal, so that your price is higher by the time you move in than when you first paid for it. Would you like me to do that? Yeah, of course. So I would just like to ask you a few questions via Zoom. I'm just going to record a conversation like this via Zoom. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I'm going to share those answers with potential neighbors of yours so I can encourage them and give them the social proof and the permission to move forward. Is that okay with you? Would you help me do that? Yeah, of course. And I'm going to ask them, so why did you choose to buy right now? Why did you choose? Which floor plan did you choose? What was so great about it? What did you like about it? Who else did you look at? Why did you choose us? Why did you choose new versus used? How was the process? The neighborhood? All that. Just ask, how about me? How was the overall sales process, the experience? And I'm going to take that video and I'm going to chop it up and I'm going to send it to prospective customers. And it's going to give them permission to buy. That's what you're needing right now. So all of our clients right now, we're giving them assignments the last 3 months. We've been working with them like crazy. All of our clients, we've got like 40, 50 builders in the program, and they're all doing these testimonials, and they're having tremendous success with doing these testimonials. And so I highly recommend, that you do that. Okay. So, we also have, if you're interested, we've got this, this awesome book that we'd love to share with you. The Mindset of a Sales Warrior. It won the best sales book in the world in 2019. We're very proud of that. I've written like 7 books, Creating Urgency in a Non-Urgent Housing Market in 2008, 40-Day Sales Dare for new home sales, Leadership Sales Coaching, Service Certainty, Mindset of a Sales Warrior, Selling Through the Coronavirus, all these different books. But Mindset of a Sales Warrior book won the best book in the world in 2019, which we're in all industries. And anyway, so if you go to warriormindsetbook.com, you can get the book for free. You just pay shipping and handling, and there's some other kind of offers and stuff that you can get in there. Or the book is on Amazon at full price or Audible at full price. But warriormindsetbook.com, you can get completely for free. Just pay shipping and handling. And it's got all kinds of mental toughness strategies and practices on how to have B thoughts and B conversations. So that's my gift to you. Please do not share that link with the general public. I like to just keep it kind of private for you guys. So, okay. So is there any questions? I got so much to cover here, but I want to make sure generating more traffic is about marketing, TV, print, SEO. People are still researching. So Bob, an advertisement that's working a lot for our clients right now is you have a picture of one of your houses, and then you say, during stay in place, would you rather be in your house or this one? That's actually a good advertisement. If you want to use that one, which I think is great. So again, please feel free to put any questions that you have. Okay, so let me give you another script that you can use. You guys are liking these scripts, it sounds like. So this other kind of language. It's the language of selling, language of persuasion, which is so important. So a customer is not going to buy in a fear state. A customer is not going to buy in a fear state. They're only going to buy in an opportunity state. So how can you use the power of your language, your words, to get them to go from a fear state to an opportunity state, which is what we need them to be in order to buy? Well, let me share this with you, okay? The technique is called match, pace, lead, anchor, okay? So match, pace, lead, anchor. So I'm going to say the script, and then I'm going to break it down for you, we'll go from there. If you need any of the notes, by the way, too, Brandon, will you put your cell phone number up there for me? So Brandon will type his cell phone number in the chat. So if you need any of the notes from today or missing anything, then just text Brandon. He's one of our trainers and amazing sales professionals, and he can help you with anything you miss from a notes perspective. Okay. So here's the pattern. So match, pace, lead, anchor. So a customer comes in and they say, hey, it's a scary time. Well, you would say it is a scary time, but it's also an interesting time. And some might even say an opportunistic time. For example, Warren Buffett, the richest guy in the world, says, be opportunistic when others are fearful and fearful when others are opportunistic. So let's see if this is a Warren Buffett opportunity for you. Okay, so that's match, pace, lead, anchor. So let me break down the science of that. So if someone says it's a scary time and you immediately react by saying something like, yeah, but it's also a great time. See, I'm out of rapport with you. And when rapport is lost, all is lost. Rapport is the foundation of selling. So selling is certainty plus education with a foundation of rapport. I gotta be on the same page with you. So if they say it's a scary time and I go, yeah, but it's also an opportunistic time, it's too far of a lead. It's too far of a leap, right? So I gotta agree with you. So you say it's a scary time. And I go, it is a scary time, but it's also an interesting time. You see how interesting is kind of a small step, but it's also an interesting time, sort of a neutral word, you know? And some might even say an opportunistic time. So notice that I didn't say, but all people say it's an opportunistic time. That would be incorrect, you know? But some say it's an opportunistic time. For example, this is the anchor. For example, Warren Buffett says, be opportunistic when others are fearful and fearful when others are opportunistic. So be fearful when others are, For example, Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are opportunistic and opportunistic when others are fearful. So let's see if this is a Warren Buffett opportunity for you. So what I've done there is I've taken them from like their neighbor's pair of glasses. I want you to see yourself as like an eye doctor, you know? So they come in and they can't see very well and they're scared and they're worried. They call you on the phone and they're scared. And so you want to change their prescription from the neighbor's viewpoint of buying ammo and, you know, toilet paper and storing meat on the side, all kinds of crazy stuff. You want to like change their prescription, you know? So now I'm going to change their prescription to a Warren Buffett lens of seeing the world. And I'm going to start from that. And then I'm going to give them all kinds of testimonials later on. And I'm going to say, hey, remember earlier I talked about a Warren Buffett opportunity? Let me share with you Mr. and Mrs. Jones and why they decided to buy here. And then you share your screen, you know, and you share a testimonial about why that's the case, right? You know, which is so game changing. So for example, you know, what you could do is, you know, you just immediately share your screen. I don't know if, let me go to YouTube here. Go to YouTube, Forrest Performance Group. Okay, I'm just going there right now. And what I would do is I would just say, hey, let me, you know, for example, let me give you an example. And I would just share my screen. And you just share your screen. Okay, I hope you guys can see all that. Good. You just share your screen and you immediately just find some, you know, find some testimonial that, you know, that talks about you, right?
And then, and how is your performance right now? How are you doing when it comes to sales compared to you feel like your competitors?
You know, our budget this year called for 457 closings throughout all of our markets, and we have not backed off of that yet. We were actually a few sales above. We're in our 5th week of Stay Safe at Home. We are an essential worker in Kentucky and Indiana, so housing's open. We're doing one-on-one presentations in the models. We're doing virtual, all that. So we had to react to it. The first week, I think we had about a 68% drop, somewhere in the neighborhood of that. It was 5 weeks ago in sales. The next week, we were off like 30%. The next week, we were off 1 sale. This week, we just increased 30%, right? 33%, I guess, if I'm calculating the numbers correctly. Already this week, I'm at 5. Right, that was reported through Tuesday of yesterday, right? And I think actually we'll probably be about 40 to 50% up this week. Our starts have not slowed down. Obviously, we're watching where people are with their jobs. People,
you know, but so immediately you just share your screen. You know, you share your screen and you share with them the success that you've had. So testimonials are everything right now, and they're so important. So you want to make sure that you get comfortable, of course, with, with the Zoom technology and the ability to be able to do it very quickly. So again, that's that match pace lead. It's a scary time. It's also an interesting time. Some would say it's opportunistic time. For example, Warren Buffett says, and then say the line, let's say this is a Warren Buffett opportunity for you. And then again, peppered along the way, you're giving them permission, momentum. Hey, let me share with you another example of Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so and why they thought it was the right time for them to buy. So make sure you're getting all of those testimonials from all of your customers in backlog that you can be, helping out and working with. So looks like Barb said, how has the messaging for the online sales counselors changed during the pandemic to create action for potential buyers? I'm not sure if your message has changed at all. It just needs, it's not different than it is on site, right? So everything that I'm saying right now, we're teaching for the online people to be able to say as well, is that you got to do the same, you're the front line, you're the front line offense right there. So, you've got to be impeccable with your words, and you have to be working with them like crazy. And you've got to master, the technology and master the things, for them. So whatever they throw at you, you just want to redirect it. So again, if they're scared right now, if they're worried, then again, you just say things like, it's a scary time, but it's also an interesting time. And so let's see if this is a Warren Buffett opportunity for you. And then you just reframe it. And then you talk about, people are buying right now. They're buying for all kinds of reasons. I'm curious, what has you looking for a home, and just redirect it and just make sure that momentum is so in there. Yes, Priscilla, I'm a big foreign agreements fan. I think it's important that you want to be impeccable with your mindset. You want to have baller thoughts, Buffett thoughts. You want to be impeccable with your words. You want to give words of certainty, words of truth. And you want to be impeccable with your process. You want to make sure you're very clear on what your process is, because people are going to follow you if you're clear and strong and certain on your process. So let me share with you another language that you can use. So if anyone's ever seen like fighting before, I'm just going to share this quick example with you, is that whenever you see people like fight, if you have an attacker kind of fighting a defender, and the defender's losing, what they do is they brace, and they don't want to get hit, they brace. Well, the ones that respond better, they embrace. So they actually lean forward. They don't brace, they embrace. And I share that with you because, in sales, if a customer says to you, like, let's say they're on backlog right now, let's work with your backlog. So a customer's on backlog and they say, hey, what are you going to throw in right now? Or what kind of deal can you make? Or I'm a little scared, and they try to attack you, What you would want to do is, you don't want to brace by saying something like, oh, you're right, let me go see if I can help you out there, or don't give them anything, because they're going to brace and then they're going to attack you and pummel you. They're just going to keep going after more. So instead, you want to embrace. And so you want to use words like this. The way we work is, say this out loud right now to yourself, the way we work is, the reason you can trust me is, the reason you can trust me is, the reason people buy from us is, the reason people are paying more for our homes is, the reason people are paying more for our homes is, the reason people are choosing us over other options is, the reason you can trust me is, the reason why this is the right decision for you and your family is. You got to be impeccable with your words. So I would work on that language pattern on a daily basis and say it to yourself over and over and over again. All right. So, there's a couple of things, left that I'll share with you, and it's so critical, during this time. And that is, when you're driving down the road and you don't know where you're going, something I want you to notice is that you turn the radio off and you slow down. Notice that? You turn the radio off and you slow down. Why is that? Well, it's because you panicked, and your fear has taken the most of you. And do you know that fear and panic causes more accidents than even drinking and driving? That's how bad fear is for the body. And you've probably seen that, right? Someone's on the freeway, on, I think it's I-25 up there in Colorado. So someone's on the freeway, and all of a sudden they are going 40 and a 70. It's crazy, or they're driving down the road and someone slams their brakes and gets rear-ended, gets hit from behind. So the reason why I shared that with you is because, the best part of this whole story is my dad, I'd call him up in every major recession, And I would say, how's business? He would say, business is up 20%, but what's even better is next year. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, he goes, right now we're gaining market share from Zales and Tiffany's and Bach&Doors, all these jewelry stores. But at the same time, they're losing business and they're shutting their doors down out of fear and panic. They're shutting their doors down out of fear and panic. And he said, so he goes, in a matter of a few months, he goes, we'll be the only jewelry store for like 15 miles in North Dallas. Think about that. And he would say, he goes, so the year after recession, he goes, I'm going to be up like 2-3 times the year after recession. You know, I was around in 2008 in the last recession. And I'll tell you that some of the richest salespeople I've ever met in my entire life made a fortune in like 2010. You know, as things were recovering and getting better, you know, they were making more money during the winter of times, but then as things recovered, they made 2 or 3, 4 times more money because they were like the only salesperson around. They were just the only veteran around. And so to me, that's my best advice for each of you is, you know, you need to really raise your standards and be impeccable with your words, be impeccable with your process, impeccable with your mindset. You need to gain market share, you know, during the 2020 market. And, you know, whenever it comes back, it doesn't really matter, but whenever it comes back, just know that you'll be in the pole position. You'll be the only car on the road because everyone else can get rear-ended. And then your sales will go up like 2, 3, 4 times and you'll make more money than you made in your entire life. And those who've been through the past recessions know what I'm talking about. And those who haven't, just got to trust us that you got to stay the course and you got to be ready for the fortune that's about to come your way, which is pretty cool. So again, I want to, yeah. So Mike Davidson's, again, I have a few minutes left. So I want to, if there's any more questions. So Mike Davidson's asking the 6 human needs. Okay. So again, I'll go slow in this. So the 6 human needs psychology, it comes from Tony Robbins originally. So if you type in, Brandon can put the video up. If you go to a TED Talk, or if you text Brandon, he can share with you the video. He can share with you the video, but it's Tony Robbins talks about it. Anyway, so the 6 human needs psychology is based on the need of certainty. We all have these needs inside of us. So we need to feel safe and secure, certainty. So write certainty down. We need the need of variety, fun, freedom. So variety. We have the need for significance, to feel important, to feel special, to feel powerful, significance. We have the need of love and connection. That's number 4, love and connection. With our friends and our family, loved ones. We have the need of growth. That's to feel like I'm getting better, I'm improving. And we have the need of contribution, to feel like I've made a difference in the world. So one of my certifications is in addiction counseling, which sounds nuts, right? But I went to this certification because I wanted to learn. I felt that if I can understand how to remove an addiction from someone, then I believe that most people are addicted from their negative thoughts, their A thoughts. And if I can release that addiction and help them become addicted to positive thoughts, I could help them be more successful. And so one of the things I learned with the 6 human needs psychology, and so we become addicted to things all the time, you know, but the best way to sell someone a house is to understand how is their current home and community and area and part of town, how is it not meeting their 6 human needs anymore? So how is it not giving them safety and security? Is it, you know, old? Is it breaking down? Variety, fun, you know, are they getting cramped in their space? Significance, not feeling special and important anymore. Love and connection, is it causing them fights? Growth, you know, maybe they want to be closer to physical activity or closer to their church, religion. Contribution, be able to give back in a better neighborhood, a better quality of life to their family and friends. And so I'm always trying to figure out, you know, people would be looking for a house if their home already fulfilled their 6 human needs. Let me write that again, say it again. People would not be looking for a home if their home was already fulfilling their need of certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. They wouldn't be looking for a home. You already know that to be true though. So the game you have to play is you have to become the missing need. So write that down. You have to become the missing need. You have to figure out how is their home, community, part of town, home site not meeting the need of certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. And then you have to present your home, community, part of town, home site, monthly payment, etc. You have to present that as a way to fulfill that need. How is it going to give them more certainty, more fun and freedom, more significance, make them feel like a king or a queen, growth and contribution, love and connection? You have to fulfill that. You have to present that. And once you do that, then they become attracted to you. And that's what selling is. You have to become that missing need. Once you do that, you can sell as many as you want. So I hope that was helpful. You can also, Mike, you can also use that in your advertising. So if you want to contact us, something that we do as well is we have entire follow-up campaigns based on the 6 human needs psychology. So we create all kinds of follow-up scripts and follow-up campaigns based on how can we communicate in our follow-up that we're giving them certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution, and make it dialed in based upon what's important to them to become that missing need. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. So Philip or Connie. Can you unmute yourself, Philip? There you go.
I think we know how to do this by now.
I know. So Philip, how was that for you?
I'm going to go out and be a baller in a buffet and hit some testimonials. That's for sure.
Good. What was kind of 1 or 2 things that you're more conscious of now that maybe you weren't before?
Well, I think I really your A to B. I mean, that was huge, and just converting that and getting people out of that mindset of lowering their forecast instead of increasing it. So I think that was huge to me, and I think Elisa she chimed in as well and had the same feeling for sure.
Awesome. Good.
So we have a few more minutes, everybody. If you got a quick question for Jason, let us know. This is so appreciated, your time with us this morning, for sure.
So Margaret said, where can we get the book Selling the Coronavirus? You just get it on Amazon. So go to Amazon. The Kindle is a free app. You can just get on your phone. It's only $1. So I only put it on there for $1 because I didn't have the ability to publish it during this time. I want to get out of the book fast. So, but you can get it for $1. Basically everything I covered is going to be in that book. All the notes are in the book. So basically you're paying $1 for the notes, which is great. So what I'd ask of you, if you can, is please write a review on Amazon. I'd love to have the review, stronger. Okay. So Hannah said, when you say impeccable with your process, what do you mean? What I mean is impeccable is the highest possible standard. So right now, if impeccable means you have 100% certainty in your process of how you're selling a house. You have 100% certainty in your process of how you're selling a house. So what is your process from the customer walks in the door all the way to the end, as far as you resolving the sale and closing them? And you've written it out, the step-by-steps, what you're going to say, the right order of things. There's 5 levels of creating mastery of a process or impeccability that we teach. So one is you need to know your process conceptually. So, if I was to ask you, what is your process? You would need to know conceptually, be able to write it down, like here's what I do. The next level is analytically. You need to be able to know the order of your process and why is it in a certain order. So like for us, for example, we teach this thing called the VETO. So VETO stands for vision, example, teach, and own. That's our selling message process. But it's like our 6th step. So first we had the 5 steps to understand the customer's mission, and then we had the 6th step, which is give your selling message. But that's different than a lot of our competitors that teach give your builder story in the first 4 minutes. We don't think that's very effective. We think your customers don't really care about your builder story until you understand the mission that they're on to improve their life and what's most important to them. So maybe that's even too soon, but we can defend why we have our things in our certain process. So that's analytical. The 3rd step is procedural, and that's where you can do your process in the right order. The 4th step is observational. You can see it being done and not being done. That's observational. And then the last step is strategic. And that's where you have mastery over your process. You're impeccable in your process and you have an art form to it. You respond, the customer throws you off. You can kind of bob and weave, or Bruce Lee says, flow like water. You're completely conscious. You're a conscious being of choice and you're not just reacting the whole time. So when I say impeccability, I mean, you are strategic with your process and you know it, not just conceptually, not just analytically, not just procedurally, not just objectively or observationally, but also strategically. So impeccable, highest possible standards. You want to be impeccable. I'll end with this and run out of time on impeccability is that, and you guys will all get this, think about this. In 2019, you did not have to be impeccable to sell houses. Think about that. You did not have to be impeccable to sell houses in 2019. I guarantee you, each of you right now lost sales to a lesser builder when it came to price or standards or professionalism. You lost a sale to one of them. And I lost sales to last year in 2019. Our Warrior Selling Program won the second best sales training program in the world out of 40 countries and all these industries, second best in the world, beating out every new home sales trainer, Sandler, Challenger, Dale Carnegie. I mean, you name it. Like we bet on everyone. Second in the world. But we still lost sales to less expensive options. But what I'm learning though is in 2020, people are going to be pickier with their money. You know that, right? You're already pickier. You're pickier with where you spend your money when it comes to restaurants and clothing and hotels and everything. You have a higher quality of standard. You're going to be pickier. And you're only going to give money to the impeccable. So where in 2019, you had 3 classes of builders. You had like salespeople that were in the upper class, like totally hitting out of the park. You had the average, and you had the ones that were struggling. I think in 2020, you're going to have 2 classes of salespeople. You're going to have the impeccable, the rich, and you're going to have everyone else, the poor. So when I say choose to raise your standards and choose to be impeccable in your mindset, process, and language, is because if you're not impeccable in 2020, you won't make it in 2020. You'll make it in other markets like 2019, but 2020 is the year of the highest possible standards, the highest level of impeccability. Again, you know this though, because if you look at who you're giving money to right now when it comes to restaurants, and you're only giving money to the best. You're not giving money to everyone. If on average we are giving more incentive than we have since opening, and someone asks, what are your incentives right now? Would you say it's better to embrace that and talk about why people are buying from you, trusting you, et cetera, than to talk about price and your incentives? I would 100% say that, Kyle. What I would say is I would redirect that. So if an incentive by definition is to incite action. So if you just give your incentive in the very beginning, all you've done is just give them a new price. You just discounted your price. So you haven't actually incentivized them to do anything. Incentives mean to incite action, right? And so the customer, if you have great prices right now, that's fine. But what I would just say is I wouldn't lead with that. And I would just tell people, the reason why people are choosing from us is, either one, they're looking for, a bigger house, a better neighborhood. They're looking for, something new. I'm curious what has you looking for a home today. And then you take them down that path. And then you would use your incentive as a closing tool, not an opening tool. And you could say something like, one more thing. Like I always like to use it. If I had an incentives, I would use a one more thing. So one more thing would be, hey, one more thing. If you were to buy this house today, you could also get blank and blank. And I would also encourage you to tie your incentives into something they get versus a discount in their price. So for example, make a list of all the things they want in their house, like the upgraded features and whatever that is. And then you would put a price to that. So let's say you're giving them 10 grand. You would say, if you buy today, you can also get that upgraded, bathroom you're looking for. You can get, the granite countertops you're looking for. Those are all the things I can include today. And let me tell you how I can do that. But you don't just give them a blanket incentive price because there's no emotional connection to that. Remember, people buy emotionally. They buy from your heart, not from your head. Okay, I know we're out.
We're out. All right, Jason with FPG, thank you. Really appreciate it. Everybody, please get out your phone and put in May 20th. We're going to have Dina Wyatt speak to us about how to have fantastic Zoom presentations like Jason's today. So thank you, everybody, for your time. Be well, be safe. God bless.
Awesome. Thank you.